Okay, imagine for a second that everything, literally everything you thought you knew about human origins was just totally backward. Imagine that Earth isn't just some random rock where biology just happened to evolve over time, but instead, it's the epicenter of an unimaginably vast, ancient cosmic war. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving deep into Cosmic Origins, the hidden history of humanity. We are unpacking a mind-bending esoteric framework that completely rewrites human history into what I can only describe as a massive sci-fi epic.
So you know the story, right? For years, there's been this super popular internet theory claiming that an ancient extraterrestrial race called the Anunnaki came down to Earth and basically engineered humanity as a slave race to mine gold. We hear that narrative all the time, but we're going to look at this from a completely different angle today. Because according to the deeply complex esoteric lore we're unpacking right now, that whole idea, it's a massive misconception. Seriously, if you're entirely new to this specific framework, you might want to brace yourself, because it's going to flip your perspective completely upside down. This theory argues that humanity's original blueprint is actually far older, way more powerful, and infinitely more significant to the universe than the Anunnaki could ever be.
See, instead of being our creators, the Anunnaki are actually described here as an invading hybrid race that was explicitly created to destroy a massive pre-existing cosmic human project. In this lore, they're actually sometimes referred to as the Avengers. And no, definitely not the comic book heroes. We're talking about an aggressive retaliatory strike force. They were genetically engineered by darker cosmic factions, specifically to sabotage the human experiment. Because believe it or not, humanity was originally designed to bring healing and balance back to a universe that was completely spiraling out of control. To really understand how this epic cosmic heist went down, we have to go way, way back to the beginning. Which brings us to Section 1, the Great Cosmic Rebellion.
Just take a look at the staggering scale of this cosmic timeline. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around. According to this framework, a massive cosmic fracture happened roughly 250 billion years ago. That initial fracture eventually led to the creation of the angelic human on a five-dimensional planet known as Terra, about 560 million years ago. But sadly, just 10 million years after that, a totally catastrophic fall occurred. Now, to make sense of this crazy timeline, we really need to understand who was actually fighting who.
Well, it all started in the highest dimensional realms with this collective consciousness known as the Elohim. Originally, they were connected directly to the infinite source of all creation, just operating in perfect cosmic harmony. But a rebel faction within that group, known as the Anu Elohim, decided to make a pretty radical choice. They intentionally severed their cosmic connection to the original source so they could play God. And by disconnecting from that infinite energy source, they essentially became a parasitic entity. They'd evolved into a hive mind structure. Think of it kind of like a queen bee dictating the actions of a massive swarm. They became power-hungry, needing to literally farm energy just to survive, almost like a cosmic cancer. And yep, you guessed it, they are the ones who eventually created the Anunnaki to do their dirty work.
Let's move into Section 2, Project Angelic Human.
So, with this cosmic cancer spreading everywhere, the benevolent higher forces obviously needed a solution, and the ultimate countermeasure they came up with revolves entirely around one highly specific number. In this lore, the number 12 is absolutely everything. It represents the 12 dimensions of our universal matrix, it represents 12 cosmic stargates that allow travel and energy flow, and, most importantly for us, it represents the original design of the human being, meaning we originally possessed 12 active strands of DNA. Now, modern science tells us we only have 2 active biological strands, right? And they call the rest junk DNA. But in this narrative, that so-called junk is actually just unplugged, dormant cosmic hardware waiting to be turned back on.
So Project Angelic Human was explicitly designed by these higher cosmic councils to be the exact antidote to the Anu Elohim's rebellion. We were derived from an unbelievably complex high-dimensional template called the Oraphim, which originally possessed 48 strands of DNA. But a 48-strand being holds way too much energy to exist in lower dimensions, so that blueprint was condensed down into a 12-strand being, the angelic human. Humanity was then placed on a beautiful 5-dimensional planet called Terra, and we weren't just put there to hang out. We were literally a living, breathing cosmic technology. By evolving and utilizing all 12 strands of our DNA, humans were meant to act as an anchor, holding the energetic frequency of the entire universe together. We were essentially the universe's immune system, placed on 5D Terra to bring everything back into balance.
Now for Section 3, the Fall of Terra.
As you might expect,
The dark factions realized pretty quickly that if Project Angelic Human actually succeeded, their tyrannical reign over the universe would be over. So, enter the Anunnaki. They managed to infiltrate 5D Tara, and they began corrupting the minds and the DNA of the angelic humans. This massive infiltration created a profound imbalance. The society totally fractured, and it culminated in a catastrophic event, described in this lore as a massive, nuclear-level explosion that completely shattered 5D Tara's energetic grid, also known as its morphogenetic field. I want you to imagine this field as the main planetary server that houses the consciousness of every living being on it. When that server crashed, the souls of the angelic humans had literally nowhere to go. They were left floating, trapped in this fractured, disconnected purgatory state known as Arathva. And just like that, the Grand Countermeasure Project was completely derailed.
This brings us to Section 4, Earth, the Quarantine Zone.
According to this super fascinating framework, the energetic and physical remnants of Terra actually fell in frequency, condensing down to form our current three-dimensional solar system. So Earth is literally constructed from the fallen, shattered pieces of our ancient 5D home. Now, to rescue all those trapped souls, a massive cosmic salvage operation was launched, and the souls were brought down to 3D Earth to continue their evolution. But there was a huge catch. These souls were now carrying corrupted DNA from the Anunnaki infiltration. If they were allowed to freely travel the cosmos with all 12 of their strands active, they could easily infect the higher dimensions with that rebellious viral code. So to stop that from happening, Earth was established as a highly restricted quarantine zone. Human DNA was intentionally capped and locked down to just 2 active biological strands. The other 10 were completely unplugged, tossing us into a state of profound cosmic amnesia so we could slowly work out this corrupted karma safely.
And this leads us to a pretty radical departure from what you hear in mainstream spirituality. You hear the comforting phrase all the time, right? Earth is a school, we're here to learn. But this esoteric framework proposes a much harsher, highly provocative idea. Earth isn't a school, it's an asylum. It's a high-security cosmic hospital holding patients who have incredible, universe-altering potential, but keeping them under strict lockdown. We are essentially walking around in diverse suits, biological bodies functioning at the absolute lowest possible capacity, completely unaware of the fact that locked inside our dormant DNA are the keys to 12 cosmic stargates. We aren't weak, we're just quarantined because of how unbelievably powerful, yet currently compromised our original blueprint is.
Moving right along to Section 5, the Matrix and Energy.
So, if we are stuck in a quarantine zone, intentionally dialed down to just 2 strands of DNA, who exactly is running the day-to-day operations around here? Well, remember those rebel forces, the Anu Elohim, who intentionally severed their connection to the infinite source? Think about it. When you cut a device off from its power cord, it has to run on a battery. And when that battery dies, the device dies. Because these dark factions have absolutely no organic life force energy of their own anymore, they desperately need an alternative power supply. They need a battery just to sustain their artificial empire. And unfortunately for us, that battery is you.
The dark forces essentially hijacked the entire Earth quarantine zone. They set up this invisible, multi-dimensional control grid, a literal hive mind matrix, right over our planet. Their absolute #1 goal is to keep humanity in a permanent state of amnesia, to prevent your dormant DNA from ever activating again. And to keep you docile, they ensure our society is designed to trap you in a constant, never-ending state of survival. Stress, fear, division, war, financial panic, all of those negative emotions generate a very specific low-frequency energy. This matrix literally farms that emotional and spiritual distress like a crop. They siphon off this energy to keep their artificial systems humming along. You are kept running on a treadmill, generating power for a system that is actively working to prevent you from remembering your true cosmic heritage. Pretty wild, right?
Which leads us to our final part, Section 6, the coming cosmic reset.
The good news is, the original creators of the Angelic Human Project haven't actually abandoned us. According to this lore, the current quarantine system on Earth is fundamentally broken and totally unsustainable. The dark factions have basically pushed the Matrix to its absolute breaking point. So, a total system format is rapidly approaching. Think of a computer that has become so ridiculously infected with malware that your antivirus software doesn't even work anymore. The only solution left is to back up the essential files and just completely wipe the hard drive. Well, a great cosmic reset is coming to do exactly that, to cleanse the grid, completely tear down the artificial matrix, and fundamentally restructure this entire quarantine zone.
But until that massive reset actually happens, navigating the reincarnation cycle is absolutely critical. Because if the dark forces are running the Matrix, that means they also control what happens immediately after you die. This theory outlines some highly specific and frankly very controversial steps for the moment of biological death. When you finally detach from your physical body, the lower states, you'll enter the lower astral planes. And here, you're going to encounter the infamous light. But, and this is key, you are strictly instructed to reject it, to look right past it, and boldly pass through the dark veil behind it to truly escape the Matrix reincarnation loop.
I really want to let this sink in for a second, because it contradicts almost every single near-death experience teaching out there. At death, do not go to the light. It is an artificial trap. This framework offers a super provocative warning. It claims that the comfortable, warm light so often reported by those who cross over is actually just a massive holographic projection. It's a trap set by the Matrix designed to wipe your memory clean all over again and recycle your soul right back into another biological body on Earth just so you can continue generating energy for them. The lore advises that true cosmic freedom isn't found by walking blindly into the artificial spotlight. Instead, you have to trust your own internal spark, push right through that seemingly scary dark veil, and navigate yourself all the way back to the true organic source.
And that brings us to the ultimate crossroads of this explainer. We've journeyed all the way from a cosmic rebellion billions of years ago to a 5D paradise that was literally shattered, leading to our current lockdown in a 3D energy farm. It's an incredibly vast, intricate, and honestly, a somewhat daunting perspective on who we really are. But I think it's also deeply empowering, because it suggests that you aren't just some random victim of the cosmos. You are the very mechanism designed to save it. And that leaves us with a fascinating, universe-altering question. If this esoteric framework is right, and your seemingly ordinary DNA actually holds the locked keys to 12 cosmic stargates, what incredible, dormant potential is going to awaken within you when the Great Reset finally arrives? Thank you so much for exploring this hidden history with us. Keep questioning, keep seeking, and until next time, keep looking beyond the Matrix.